We'll more or less follow the agenda. So first item on there would be the approval of the minutes of meeting from our September 29th meeting. And I sent those out along with the other documents 5 or 6 days ago. So if people want to take a minute just to refresh themselves and look at that document, and then I'll entertain a motion to approve. If anyone's ready, go ahead and make a motion.
I make a motion to approve the last minutes of the meeting.
I second it.
Who's that, Skip?
Skip, I,
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Joe, aye.
aye.
Kevin, aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, I'm hearing 4-0. Next item is a quick look, very quick look at the action item list. The larger issues have their own agenda item tonight, so we'll cover the larger issues. But just so we don't lose sight of it, one of the items on there, number 8, Conservation Commission Order of Conditions. This is in the process of being renewed, and there is a meeting scheduled for October the 21st at, is it 5 p.m., Joe?
Yes, it is.
Right. So this item is tracking, and we expect it to come to closure at the end of that meeting. The other items, a couple of them pertain to sequence of events for state funds and of course the permit, which is a large issue. I don't think we're in any danger of forgetting it. It's not an immediate action item, but there's also an item about, bear with me a sec.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Is that Alfred?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for joining.
Hey, I had a question back on the other thing. I had a hard time getting on, muting and unmuting.
Yeah.
The thing in front of the Conservation Committee, I don't know if the maps are right. The maps and parcels.
Really?
Because one of them, I believe it was 21, is actually half of it, but I don't think 30. I think maybe somebody should look at the plan tomorrow. I could be wrong, but if you go on the website, the mapping and the lot numbers don't come out right.
What, Alfred, what are you comparing it to? The document that's in the NOI versus what?
I compared it to the document as far as the map and parcels, the way it's on the assessor's map. That's how we file stuff
Yeah.
for the Conservation Committee. And when I looked, I believe map 20 doesn't even touch the area. And the problem I have with that is there are 2 different zones that make up the harbor itself, the inside the pier for the thing. And by what I could see, I'm going to go on 2 seconds, bear with me. I believe that the bottom half is actually in a different map that it doesn't show. Because the maps go through the center of the area of work. That's why they're showing 2 different maps. So I mean, maybe it's an old map, maybe it's filed under something that's not current, I don't know. Somebody might want to find out to answer that question tomorrow if there is a concern, for the meeting itself. Because right now, if you go to the map page, it's showing map 20. And map 20 basically hooks around Holbrook Avenue and it doesn't come all the way down Holbrook Avenue. It goes basically through about where my boatyard is, and it lines up with the tennis courts down the pier. So I don't know why map 20 would be on that. And the problem with that is if you go to map 21, unless I'm confused, 21 shows the town pier to the about where the corner of the ice cream store is, to the end of the actual asphalt, and then the rest of it's on map 21. So it should be on those two maps, and I don't know where the other parcel and map 2031, unless it's an old map. So somebody might want to be aware of that when they go to the meeting.
And Alfred, are you talking about the assessor's map,
Yes, because that's what this is filed on.
not the map of the harbor?
No. When you file with the Conservation Committee, you have to have map and parcel. And map 21, parcel 114 is correct. It takes up the parking lot of the pier, and it goes south about halfway in that dredge area. Then if you look at the next map would be 22 below it. Map 22 will show you the line for map 20, and the L pier is in map 22.
Yeah.
So I don't know when these maps were changed last. It's been quite a while. It's got to be more than 20 years. So, I mean, I would think that these were the current parcel numbers and map pages.
Yeah, do you know if Nancy would be familiar with the references to the maps and parcels?
She may be, but it's more of a conservation thing, because if they're following through on a permit that's already permitted, and the original map and parcel was something different,
Yeah.
we would have to follow through on that. Other than that, we've advertised improperly. That's my concern. Because I can't see how map 20 has anything to do with this project.
Dredging, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking
Because the line from map 20 goes through where the septic system is for Seraldi's, all the way up through about Crockett's house on that type of a line. It does, and it goes from there towards the trailer park. It doesn't go towards the pier.
Yeah.
On September 29th, the GEI engineer submitted the notice of intent to the Conservation Commission. To my knowledge, the Conservation Commission did not raise a flag with the engineers about an issue. So, you know, I don't know what to think at this point. One would think perhaps they would have raised a red flag.
Well, Joe, I don't disagree with you. The only thing is I went off of what was stated in the GEI notice of filing.
Yeah.
And the notice of filing showed map, because I looked twice in case I made a mistake, but to the best of my knowledge, when you go online at the Conservation Committee and you look to see what is filed for the dredge thing, it says the Town of Wellfleet notice of NOI, and it's showing those that map and those two maps and those two parcels. That's all. It may be a clerical error, or it could be an old map. I don't know.
Or could they be just wanting the coastline there rather
You wouldn't
than the harbor?
you wouldn't file for something that didn't abut it.
Yeah.
The problem I've got is the bottom half, or at least 2/3 of this project on today's mapping parcel shows up on map 22. Unless there's an insert that the thing's not showing.
So how would we check this? With the assessor or with the conscom?
I'd talk to Hillary tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would, because if you look at the map, it's questionable.
So
Alfred, I'm on the Conservation Committee website, on the town website. I'm looking for what you're referring to.
Just go to the town calendar, and then it'll punch right into Conservation Committee.
Yeah, I'm on the Conservation Commission
Look
page.
up there. Look at their agenda.
Okay. Let's see. Yep. Oh, yeah. It labels the maps.
That's how you have to file everything with the Conservation Committee.
Mm-hmm.
And then my problem is I do not believe that map 20 is part of this project. I think they've got the wrong numbers in there.
Well, who placed map 20 and 21 on their agenda? Didn't they place them on there?
No, they would have placed on their agenda what the applicant applies for.
I see.
So they would
Well,
take it direct.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the NOI trying to find out if it was referenced in there. I haven't found it yet.
Wouldn't it be worth a call, Alfred, to somebody on that commission tomorrow to see if they have an issue with it?
I'll call Hillary in the morning if you'd like. It's just
Yeah,
the
that
fact
would be
that
great.
it's just the fact that I question it only because when I looked at the map, I didn't think that map was part of it, only because I know where my building is on the map.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason I'll call Hillary in the morning, and I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, that would be great. If there is a problem, to discover it before that Wednesday meeting, because that's one of the two final pieces that need to be submitted for the Army Corps to issue the permit for Area 1 and to get us rolling for piggyback dredging.
Well, when I saw unless there's an old map, but which I don't think there is, that was my concern, that it may not have been advertised properly. That was just my concern, Joe.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and if you follow up, and it could and should be clarified so that it's correct.
And Alfred, when you call her, if you call the office, sometimes she goes to other meetings or site visits, and all this anyhow. But just when you call her, and if you leave a message, just tell her that it's really important that she gets back to you soon. And I'm looking, and I'm seeing if I have her cell phone number. She always gets, but I got it. I do have her cell phone if you want it. Where is it?
I have it.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Both, because this is important, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of the things as we get closer to piggyback dredging, we will need to review the conditions of the permits. Not necessary for the channel work, which is underway, but for our work, we'll need to circle back and read the conditions so that we're conversant and familiar with them. So I'll keep that on the list, and we'll give it more attention in the next week or so. Those are the items that were hanging fire on the action item list, unless someone has something else on that list that you want to talk about now. If not, we'll move on to the agenda. The Army Corps permit and National Marine Fisheries issues. We had a call with GEI. Joe, can you summarize for people the status of?
Sure. There are two outstanding requirements that the Army Corps requires in order to issue the dredging permit for all of Area 1, which includes, of course, the piggyback area by the fuel dock L pier and in front of the launching ramp. The first item is the Army Corps Regulation 408. They are working on that in-house, and we're told that should be signed off on any day now. The second item is the one we just discussed, the notice of intent to the Conservation Commission sign off. I'm hopeful Alfred's call is productive and there isn't a red flag, but if there is, I'm going to be attending that meeting, and I would advocate for another meeting soon with an agenda of one item just to correct that. The bigger issue, the broader issue of getting the permit signed off on for Area 2, which would be done hopefully in the fall of 2022 with National Marine Fisheries. They are working with the Army Corps now to develop some parameters that we can use in mitigation. Our engineers at GEI are also preparing a full packet of information on our project to go to the new area director at the Army Corps. And once she has that packet and reviews it, then Chris and I are going to have a conference call with them to move ahead on defining those parameters. Right now, the dredging is on schedule, and on our end, in addition to monitoring it, our immediate challenges are pushing them to complete that 408 review and also getting the Conservation Commission to sign off on their part. And at that point, we should be good to go. Our engineers have indicated to us that the
Joe, you there? It looks like you froze up.
then allows them to advertise for bids for the piggyback dredging and begin the state required bidding process. And at some point in November, that will come to a meeting where the bids are submitted and opened, which Chris and I will be attending. Let's see if there's anything else. So the town will approve the RFP and send it to town council for approval. The advertising is all set, will go out. There'll be a pre-bid meeting, which we're going to be a part of. And then by November 11th or so, they hope to have the bids in hand. And if we're fortunate, hopefully Cashman will come in as the low bidder, seeing they're already mobilized and their equipment is there. They're also dredging at a low price on a comparative basis. So that pretty much covers everything up to date.
Any questions on either the permit process or the timeline and sequence for piggyback? Joe's covered them both pretty thoroughly, but if there's any questions, we can go over them.
Can you hear me, Skip?
Yes, can hear you now, Skip.
Yeah, Joe. So the key here is that the document that you guys putting together to submit to the Corps of Engineers is very critical to the permit being taken care of that we need for
For
that.
area 2. For
Area
area
2.
2. Right now, the 2 final requirements are the Army Corps in-house 408 review. And that, we're told that's coming any day, and the sign off by the Conservation Commission.
Oh, and that's,
That will
Conservation
then
Commission
allow
of
the Army
Wellfleet?
Corps to issue the permit for all of Area 1, including the piggyback area. So a year from now, we would have the permit in hand to move ahead and do all the rest of Area 1. And in the meantime, we'll be working with National Marine Fisheries and Army Corps for 2022 to dredge Area 2. Does that answer your question, Skip?
Yeah, and you're saying it's, the Conservation Commission is Wellfleet's Conservation Commission.
That's correct. And they have a meeting Wednesday evening. It's on their agenda. And unless Alfred finds an issue,
Well,
you know.
I want to be negative, but I don't. When I went back on the website to
Mhm.
find out where Lot 31 is,
Yeah,
because it rang a bell for something. And when they did the pier dredging on the beach side, that's where the order of conditions sends the sand. Lot 31 is in front of Keller's Corner. If you go up and make the corner where all the cottages are, the Wellfleeter,
mhm.
that's where Lot 31 is on map 20.
Alfred,
And
would you- I'm sorry, go ahead.
Maybe tomorrow morning around 9:30 or so, Joe. If you guys, I mean, we can look at the maps, but I mean, I'll call Hillary first thing. But I know what they did. I think I know what they did. They took the wrong file number because Lot 31, map 20, Lot 31 is a piece of property up by the old inn.
Mhm. So come down to you tomorrow
Yeah.
morning. All right, 9:30?
9's fine. Let's see if we can get
Okay.
this thing going before we get in trouble.
Yeah,
If that's okay with you guys.
sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Better to nip it in the bud.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going off what the advertised meeting is, and that's what's concerned me.
Where shall we go at 9? Where are we going to meet you?
You meet me at the boatyard.
Okay.
I can print out the pictures and we can see what it is. But I'll call Hillary first thing in the morning and see if she's got the right numbers. Excuse me, if that's what they submitted the numbers under, then that's what the meeting's for.
And if it is incorrect, that would give us the day to work on it to correct it.
That's correct.
Yeah. Be ready for Wednesday evening. Are you planning on attending the CONSCOM meeting Wednesday evening, Alfred?
I believe I am now.
Okay.
Good
Well,
hand.
that's what we're paying you salary to do.
Well, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is just a brief update on the progress to date on the channel dredging that the Corps is doing. So probably everyone has seen the pieces of equipment, but they're using the dredge, the wood one. They have 2 scows. One of them is nominally 1,000 yards, and the other is 2,500 yards. They have a tender tug and then the tow tug. And they're on target to get their 75,000 cubic yards for this month.
Are we at a point where we can have comment on that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
If I'm not interrupting anything. This week, the tugboat got out of control. The barge went sideways. They lost control of it. It went into 2 shellfish grants, one that's got tons of my shellfish on. I believe one of the captains of the barge if it's the same tugboat all the time, runs aground on a regular basis. We're missing approximately 45 feet at the end of our grant, being Mallory's. Myron Taylor's probably more than that. And a quarter of our grant now has 3 feet of sand on it. The tugboat washed up on it 3 days ago. We got cohogs. ARC's got runways with nets with 4 and 5 inches of sand on them, where at low tide you would stand in your waders up to your waist. Now at low tide you're 3 feet above the water because they push so much sand up on the ground. The barge went sideways. Everything got catastrophic. It's not. I'm not saying we should stop this, but I think people need to be aware that this thing is not going smoothly when it comes to one particular tugboat, the yellow one, and he tows the smallest barge and he runs aground on a regular basis.
Do you know which tug it is by name?
I'm using the yellow one because I'd like to have a meeting with somebody before I really, because
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if it's, I don't want it to be a conflict with me on the board.
Okay. Let's.
I'm sorry. I don't want to blame both of them, though, because one of the gentlemen, I think, does a good job. And the other guy, I personally wouldn't let him run a Volkswagen. And I'll leave it at that.
This morning, Chris and I had a conference call with the Army Corps' project engineer. And included in that conference call were the 2 engineers on the ground in the trailer for the Army Corps down at the pier. And we worked out a process that's going to take place where we're going to communicate every Monday. But the meeting ended with the understanding that if there were other issues that came up, we can approach them anytime. We talked about the plan of the Shellfish Constable doing an assessment, working with the grant owners. And once the assessment is done, then looking to the contractor for damages, etc. Then this afternoon, I had this conversation with Alfred that he just related to everybody. And I haven't had a chance to talk with you about it, Chris, but I have some real concerns about what Alfred is talking about, what he's observing. And for me, there's a large red flag because I don't want this to happen again. There seems to be a conflicting report around whether or not the tug lost the rudder, lost power, or just through poor navigation, stranded over there, did not wait for the tide to come in to lift him off. I don't want this to happen again. And given my conversation with Alfred, what you just heard, I'm going to be wanting to talk with Chris about, and the rest of you, about raising it with the Army Corps to raise it with the contractor. I did learn that the tugs are not owned by Cashman, the contractor. They're contracted out. But certainly they're paid by Cashman, and Cashman has leverage over them. So I'm going to be looking, unless anybody has other ideas, to revisit this. And Alfred has agreed to join Chris and me in a meeting with the Cashman project director at the pier to talk about this, because I don't want to see it happening again.
Yeah. I think tomorrow morning, after we meet to discuss the conservation, then the 3 of us can talk about this a little bit, and then we can walk over to the trailer and begin discussion with Bob Christie.
Well, we can see if he's available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's plan to tackle it tomorrow morning when we're together.
You know, a lot of the time when I'm down there, the trailer is closed and locked. They're out in the field, you know. So yeah, we'll take a walk over, and then if they're not there, then, you know, we're gonna get on the phone with Army Corps and set that up soon. I mean, they've got to be sensitive to the issue of the grants and the economic factor in this town. It certainly is nothing new to Cashman. I mean, they have 8 dredging crews going all the time. So I don't think we're asking for much. And I think we have to be rather firm with them about ensuring that this is not going to happen again.
Can I just ask if it's possible, if it works out, to make sure Will Sullivan's included on this so he gets in on the process?
Yeah.
This is Skip. I think that's a serious issue because we're talking about a large corporation that even subcontract that, you're right, they're definitely responsible for what goes into this problem. And it could be serious than just landing up on, it could be moving into some other piece of equipment. So
Yeah. Well, as I think about it, I think the goal should be for us, Chris, to meet with Kyle Reeves, the project manager at Cashman, along with Tim Resendez, the project manager for the Army Corps.
Right.
Because the contractor certainly is the one who is supposed to be monitoring the performance of the whole operation. And if there's a cowboy at the wheel of that tug, you know, we want to raise a red flag with them. So that's my thinking on that. Alfred, do you have anything else?
I'd prefer not to. I'd rather be Alfred at the next meeting. I think that would be a great idea. I mean, I just don't want to overstep my bounds in this position. I mean, I'm bringing it to light to you. I'm not complaining. I just would like to see that there's a mechanism for the fishermen with grants on the channel to have some say to make sure it doesn't continue.
Mm-hmm.
Alfred, I'm sorry, you want to be Alfred on the next DTF meeting or in the meeting we have with?
No, I don't prefer to. I mean, I'm just bringing this to light. I'm not trying
Okay.
to use this committee. I want to be very clear that this is not a stepping stone for me. I'm hoping the committee can take care of this, and I'll be happy to go to the next meeting with the Corps and whoever.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, we understand. It's an important issue, and we're glad you raised it.
I want you there with the 2 project managers, Alfred.
I'll be happy to go. I just don't want to make this
No,
my crusade to the board is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we understand and respect that. But I think it's important that you attend that little meeting because you have the credibility of working out there.
Joe, I had 2 boats in the water to make sure the tugboat wouldn't come ashore anymore. I mean, we positioned ourselves between the goddamn thing and our grant, and when our grant buoys, which are about 80 feet or 90 feet out of the channel, are getting sucked up by the tugboat, we knew we were in trouble. That's how bad it got. We had 2 in the crane bar. I mean, it was just an absolute. I'm not going to continue. It's not part of this meeting. Sorry. I'll
go. We have a plan for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. With some luck, both project managers will be there. If they are not, I'm going to get on the phone and we're going to set that up as soon as possible.
Excellent.
Do you have anything else, Chris?
No, I don't. We'll need to address when we should schedule our next meeting.
Okay.
So the question is, do we want to schedule it 1 week from tonight or 2 weeks from tonight?
I think 2, the schedule of 2 serves us pretty well. something comes up, we can always call a meeting.
Yeah.
That would be November 2nd, I think.
Yes, it would, 7 o'clock. So we'll set it up for November 2nd at 7 o'clock.
That may be a scheduling conflict for me.
Yeah,
Let me see. November 2nd.
so Monday.
Crap, go away. The planning board, I think, is supposed to start then. Maybe I'm incorrect. We usually meet on Wednesdays. I think I can make it. If it's not, I'll find out what we're doing. We've
Yeah.
been getting a little heat about not having a planning board meeting.
Yeah, let us know, because when we set up the schedule several weeks ago, we decided we'd look to Tuesdays as an alternative if people had a conflict. Okay,
Yeah.
are we all set, Skip?
Yes.
Items?
Two-
Okay,
Second,
any other items that anyone wants to talk about?
Can I just bring up one point on the piggyback dredging?
Yes,
One thing for the town to be careful of is that first groin out in front of Max. The last couple of years, last year I pulled about a half a wheelbarrow of sand out of my boat. Once that wind blows out of the south-southwest, it carries the sand right over the pier. You also get it at the mosquito dock. So in looking at the dredging aspect of it, the town has a responsibility to clear that sand out of there. They can take it down to Keller's Corner like they used to. And I remember that there used to be beach sand all up, beach grass all up on that edge to protect the erosion. That's not happening. So if they dredge that, all that sand is gonna, if it's not taken care of, it's gonna slug back into that corner where the mosquito dock is. So, I mean, it's something to look at for the future, to have the town, they got the equipment, they got the truck, go down and dig it out like they used to.
With a front end loader,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a groin down there. Most people don't know it's there anymore because it's filled in. Used to
Yep.
block all the sand from blowing down.
when it was done in the past, was it essentially routine by Department of Public Works?
Well, Public Works hasn't been down there in a long while. Mike used to take care of it underneath the pier with a little bobcat,
Right,
but it was just superficial. DPW used to do it 20, 30 years ago.
I think they did it 2 or 3 years ago, Kevin.
So, but that is something.
Is that with Mike?
That's something that Will should handle. Will's being the assistant. And
Yeah.
if you're down there enough, Kevin, just talk to him, or Alfred or Chris. or-
Well, the problem is that it's gonna come from a higher source because
Yeah.
the two departments don't work well together.
That's not, in the present, they're all working fine.
There has been, regarding marina issues, there has been some improvement on that. They did some sign making for the marina. And as I said, I'm pretty sure 2 or 3 years ago, they had their front loader come down and do the area you're talking about. But that's something we can work on.
We do have a permit for that. It's an ongoing maintenance permit. And that's where map 2031 comes in, because that's where the sand is designated to go out of that permit. So it goes down to Keller's Corner. So if we take the high road and we get Will to ask the DPW, this will all get finished, correct, Janet?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty good these days. And I think, Will is the acting, well, he is, I don't know. I guess Mike has not completely retired yet. But I know he's not down there either. So,
But he was
that's-
down there most of last week.
Oh, he was good.
Yeah.
So, yes. So I didn't know he was down there. So, yeah, Mike, Do you want me to call Mike? Do you want me to
No,
call?
I'll talk with Mike.
Yeah,
I'll talk with Mike tomorrow morning.
'cause I don't know what the town administrator's up to, and with all COVID, we don't get to talk like we used to, but, I mean, I could call Mike too, if he's down there, or Will. I would have no problem with doing that. And it's
Yeah,
not, I'm not supposed to tell them what to do, but, I can, I have a good enough relationship with both of them. I could remind them that that may need to be done.
Chris and I are going to be there tomorrow morning.
I hear
And
Well, we
Alfred
need-
goes there every day.
We will.
What we need to do, what we need to do is we need to pull the permit from Hillary's office, because there are some time restrictions in it. And then at that point, we could probably get this scheduled in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it should be, everyone knows that should be done, and that's the town's responsibility. So it's just a reminder or a gentle push. A long walk off the short pier.
Off the yellow pit.
So we're set for Monday, November 2nd, unless we hear from Alfred, then we'll look at possibility of the next day.
That'd be fine. I think our meeting is when, but we haven't had one, and we're getting flack, as we should.
We all set, Chris, anything else, or anybody else have anything?
Only a motion to adjourn if there's nothing else.
I'll make that.
I was going to put forth a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Alfred beat you, I thought.
Oh,
But we do have an opportunity to second it.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in
Eagle
favor?
doesn't want to do it. though.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Yeah, Mia, thank you for hosting this. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
You
Mia.
are welcome.
Thank you, Mia.
I thank all of you guys with how the hard work you're doing. I drive down there every day. Don't stay long, but I love driving down there and seeing the dredging.
Are you going to get a chance, Janet, to operate the dredge?
You know, they don't even let me close to them. No. I went out with Will. Will took me out for a nice little boat ride. But yeah, no. Actually, don't tell anyone, but I was the one on the tugboat. I'm only kidding.
So do you know that the captain of the dredge boat was sinking? It's that pontoon platform boat. So they had to haul it out to repair it.
Wow. Well, boats take a lot of wear and tear. That's why I don't have one.
Not aluminum one, though. You don't want that, Al tells me.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you guys. Thank
Good
you,
night.
Thank you, Alfred.
Right.
Aye.